hopeful new day to learn, relearn, heal, and grow on to every priceless miracle on this shared planet. Now, we all evidently have and still are enduring dynamics, challenges, and traumas that no one is completely aware of and understands the degree of Yahweh Jah Jehovah above the heavens. We all can evidently relate to one another to some degree in some aspect in life when it comes to all things. For an example, we all can relate to a time we couldn't see and we couldn't hear, or a time when we were heavily codependent on someone for our very life, much like being on life support. We all can relate to losing someone temporarily because there is a hope, and having to deal with the grief of loss. We all can relate to catching a disease and curing and not being cured or living with something that is considered a disease. We all can relate to life struggles. Nevertheless, Yahweh has inspired, preserved an historical, priceless gift to us that we have the choice to continuously meditate on, listen to, acquire, and thus apply so that we can be able to endure through life with more faith, vigilance, and resilience. It's up to us to continuously acquire and apply it. So there is hope. It's up to us to take full proactivity in regards to it. Take on that proactivity and remain proactive in regards to that hope. This segment is going to be specifically about abuse that is from females. Now, it's not uncommon for females specifically to eventually speak up about the abuse from males. And it's not uncommon for us to have many resources where we can look up about abuse specifically from males and how to get and seek help. However, speaking to various ones and looking up research for many hours, days, months, and years, I've come to acquire, and also my own experiences, I've come to acquire abuse can come from females, but it tends to be more covert and it tends to not be held as accountable as abuse from males. For an example, it's very popular for these reality shows to be riddled with females who abuse verbally and who also take advantage and smear someone's reputation, which evidently causes them to lose much needed opportunities, to strain their family life, even break up families, and so forth. And it's put into the entertainment, and many people watch it and they get a kick out of it. These people are not or many of them are evidently not summoned to go to court for harassment, for habitual verbal or psychological or emotional abuse that has caused adverse effects on other people's lives and health. These people are not summoned to anything that has caused, well, as far as many of the cases that have caused adverse effects to multiple lives because it's caused an evident dominoes effect. Now, I can relate to this myself in many aspects when it came to certain females, and I'm going to talk first about the females on my job. Now, there was a case where this female was evidently struggling with substance abuse and went through certain things in her personal life that affected her job performance. And at times she would come to work looking out of it. And my boss tried to work with her as another woman who has gone through things herself and show some compassion and understanding. We all try to be compassionate towards her. And with her working on with me in many instances, I tried to be support to her, listen to her for many hours, on lunch break and after work, even when I wasn't feeling well myself, even when there were other people evidently in my life that could benefit from an exchange of encouragement. Pardon me. There were many instances where I shared constructive feedback, mentoring based on my hours, months, years of research throughout my life, based on my experiences, based on my acquiring of the priceless scriptures. And I tried to be of a source to her that she can be motivated by, because let's face it, we're all humans facing the human experiences, and none of us are above each other. We're all just trying to survive this world. So I noticed a common theme with many of these women were abuse, accusations of being abused and accusations of being, just struggling. And we understand the struggle, don't we, people out here? We all at one point can relate to different things. And we all at one point were blind. When we were in the womb, we all one time couldn't hear. We all one time, couldn't walk. We all one time was heavily codependent on someone for our life. For an example, in the womb, we all at one point caught diseases, and some of which we're still living with. We all at one time struggled through things we couldn't understand. And we all at one time suffered the loss of someone we were very close to, that we're still living with and waiting to hopefully see again in the hopes to come. So we all can in some way and degree relate to one another. So at times we continue to activate that empathy and connect with each other and support of each other. Now, during the very height of the pandemic, we were temporarily told to be on lockdown. So I had an extra Instagram page, which I felt we both could benefit from in regards to keeping abrupt with the educational field and being a resource to parents who were trying to figure out how to survive this pandemic and would feel like they're not alone. And we would be here to read free stories, animated free stories, and be able to share tips that have worked in our classroom as far as potty training, as far as educational aspects, as far as social emotional. We also recited affirmations that helped the children feel empowered. We also had pictures of us with the children, of course, with their heads turned, where they can see how we exhibited activities that they could do at home. So we had many resourceful, detailed, age-appropriate tips for parents to be able to refer to during this trying pandemic. We also did live lesson plans virtually, and many parents seem to be very enthusiastic with being with their child on these live sessions, and it was very engaging, very encouraging for the both of us. I've enjoyed them, me and the other coworker, and she's very talented and gifted when it comes to art, when it comes to animation, when it comes to enthusiasm and humor. I really enjoyed working with her. Unfortunately, she took advantage at some point, and she might have been doing this quietly for a while, but I caught it at a certain point. Now, she had the password to the Instagram page as well, so she posted up an embarrassing picture of herself, and she made it like I did it to her. Now, I didn't see this picture right away. When I decided to put something else up on the Instagram page that I felt would be very resourceful to the parents is when it was like a nightmare. Like my heart started racing, like, oh my God. Like it was like I was in a scene of a movie. And it showed her a picture of herself with a very messy background, and she typing things like it was me, And anybody can see from the Instagram end that it was her. An embarrassing picture of herself and writing all these accusations of me embarrassing her, not asking permission to post this picture, of her humiliating her, all this kind of accusations that were false and evidently posted by herself. She framed me, and other people can see this. It was an open page to the public. Parents could see this, children could see this, other families could see this, other individuals could see this. It sabotaged my reputation. At that point, I immediately deleted it and changed the password, and I addressed her on it. She continued to gaslight me. She continued to lie, deny, and deflect. And then she went about telling people about this situation that she did herself, and it caused a strained relationship with other coworkers at the time, which affected not only me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but also other people and the interaction they had with me, which the children, I'm sure, were affected by. I can see them watching at times. In addition to all of that, she taunted me online. Now, I trusted her at some point and allowed her to be my friend on other social media platforms besides the Instagram as well as Facebook. And she kept saying, if everyone is saying the same thing, it must be true. And I'm like, I can feel in my spirit, she's talking about me. And she did admit it, that she was talking about me. She was taunting me. And then on another instance, she continued to call me and text my phone because someone commented on my Facebook page, and it happened to be a male. Now, I don't know about anybody else. I'm not on social media for a date. I'm not on social media to get attention. I'm not on social media to get validation. That's my responsibility. I'm up there to encourage as I'm being encouraged, to empower as I'm being empowered, to share information as I'm continuously remaining proactive about acquiring and applying that wisdom and application or insight, etc., etc. So she continues to accuse me and harass me. And then it goes on with those lies. She's telling different people on different days about something she did herself. And it got to the point where I yelled and I said, stop lying, to the top of my voice. I even called the cops at one point, and because it kept going on and on and on, and she wouldn't stop. And she kept lying. There was no way to iron out the situation because she would not admit it. And other people were becoming angry with me. It was affecting the atmosphere. It was becoming more unhealthy, the environment. And we all had a lot to deal with continuously aiding children with various challenging situations, some of which were coming from shelters, some of which who had unaddressed evident mental and emotional health challenges. Some were being addressed, that they didn't have people coming in all the time. We had a lot of the bulk of responsibility with managing these behaviors and managing these challenging disorders or special needs. We had a lot to deal with besides potty training, besides making out work by hand, besides making out homework by hand, besides keeping these children's attention, but besides keeping them safe, which is number one. We had a lot of challenges to deal with on top of dealing with this unhealthy work environment and people spreading false rumors and smearing people's reputation, causing strained relationships, and et cetera, et cetera. So at one point I called the cops, and the cops told me that at first they didn't come. They said, we can't do anything unless somebody physically assaults you. And I said, okay, but they still came and they took a report. My boss was a witness to many things, and she was sharing what she witnessed as well. And they said, unfortunately, unless somebody strikes you, we can't do anything about it. So even when somebody's habitually, psychologically, and emotionally abusing you, according to the law, they can't do nothing unless, at the time, that's what I was told by two officers, they couldn't do anything unless it had physical evidence, even though that was adversely affecting me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, affecting me to the point where I kept questioning myself. I continued to have doubts about who I can trust. And I started to isolate myself, even though they were doing that as well by sowing seeds of doubt in various heads. I was isolating myself as well because I felt like I couldn't trust. I don't know. I still have flashbacks and dreams. I still get slight anxiety attacks because of these things. And I still have a strong doubt on who I could trust. And it's not healthy for me, but I'm fighting it up to this day. Because all this did not happen that long ago. It happened a few years ago. Now, with the second case, again, even though I told my boss at the time, I do not feel it's healthy for us to work together anymore. I was told you can handle it. You can handle it. Anywho's, this woman, she also shared stories of abuse and strained relationships with a specific parent. And the empathy came and was activated because I know the struggle. I know the human struggle we all do in aspects. And I listened many times during work. We collaborated with each other. We tried to be of support, I thought, to each other. Many weekends, I sacrifice where I can benefit from exchange of encouragement from other people. And I put that aside, striving to be of aid to this woman who was going through an evident challenging time as far as what she told me. And she was experiencing, still recovering from a very trying loss. And we know how it feels to suffer the loss of someone we spent almost a lifetime with. I know it. It's not easy. So I'm listening to her. I'm empathizing with her. And it came to a point where she became very continuously upset at work and sharing personal stories about her, life at home and her significant other, and got me tied up in mess. In anger, and started off with her in a corner pouting. The energy was all in the atmosphere. This victim mentality was evidently being exerted throughout the classroom. So I said, okay, what happened? And she got upset. And she's like, you know you're not as innocent as you seem. You know you slept around with different people. You know that and trying to imply I molested children because I try my best to wipe them like I want to be wiped. I don't want to be half wiped because I know when you're using the public bathrooms, for an example, and you don't have enough tissue and your bottom is itching, you feel disgusted. I treat the children like I want to be treated. I don't want to be half wiped. I don't want to be half cared for. I want to be wiped to where I can sit down and I feel clean and fresh. And when you wipe the children properly and you make sure all the residue is off, they're smiling and they're laughing and they feel clean. So she's like, implying I'm molesting them, even though that's evidently completely false above the heavens and before anybody who can see me wiping them. And she's trying to imply I'm schizophrenic because I stated that I think it's best to keep it professional because it was these back and forth, angry, irritated conversations at some point. And I was like, no, I think this is best to keep it professional. There were occasions where we were both together and I gave her a chance after chance. And I was like, okay, gaslighting myself, thinking maybe I'm being too rough. Maybe I'm being too judgmental. And I don't want anybody to do that to me. Again, I'm empathizing with the human experience, trying to be understanding based on what I'm learning and at Bible studies about forgiveness. We all need it. Why not give it? So on many occasions she stole from stores, much in which I didn't see her do. And there were times and many occasions I went back and paid these workers back because they work hard to have their business. And I didn't want her to get in trouble. So I'm spending extra money I couldn't afford to spend to pay these people back. And when I was already giving her a lot of money on the side to assist her. And we both were working. Anywho's, it got to the point where I kind of snapped. I told her, Stop it, stop it. I was screaming, and I was like, this is becoming toxic. The constant her accusing me of lying and smearing my reputation. And there was times when she said, "Oh, my man, my man told me he saw you," and I never met this man a day in my life. I was tired of the habitual lying, the habitual false accusations, the habitual assumptions being spread, the habitual smear campaigns and denying and deflecting and acting like she was doing it because she was concerned and comparing me to her daughter, who was much younger than I was, trying to so-called protect me. So protection is habitually accusing, habitually lying, habitually smearing someone's reputation. That's not protection. But in her eyes, I guess from what she was saying, it was protecting me. Even though it was straining my relationships with other people, it was sowing seeds of doubt in other people's minds. Evidently, I could see by the interactions with some, it was causing a very unhealthy work environment, and it was spilling over to where the children could see it and being affected by it. So I just wanted to keep it at a distance. I eventually relocated to another job. I worked hard to get out of that job and go to the Board of Ed temporarily. I thought I was going to be there permanently because I've been working with children since I was 16 years old. I've been working since I was 13 years old, packing bags, cleaning people's houses, running errands, making money to help my mom out at the time, who was getting basically not enough money to take care of us. Like I said before, we were sharing beds. I don't think I even mentioned this earlier, going to free school lunch during the summertime, seasonally. We were eating pretty much food that we could, beans sometimes, 3-bean soup, things that we as children didn't appreciate, and I appreciate it now. This is how I survive. I go to the free food and I soak those beans and cook them, and it stretched me through the week because a lot of people out there, I'm not going to say most, a lot of people out there are just getting enough money bi-weekly plus bi-weekly check to pay their rent and utilities. And we're living with the lights off. We're living where we're not getting our hair and nails done, where we're not really going to events we have to pay for, but we're going to the Prospect Park. We're going to free events. And we live check to check. We really don't get to enjoy the benefits of our labor. So I can relate to that from the past to the present. So anywho, I was sharing money that I was saving for grad school, and I was giving it and sharing it with these different individuals. And what I got in return was habitual fabrications and habitual smear campaigns, which still affects me to this day. There were times I was having nightmares, I was having panic attacks, are still affecting my trust. And in regards to people, I'm still being affected down to this day. Now, the DOE dropped me for not being able to pass one test on time. And I'm still seeing a pending grade online, which I took on April 3rd of this year. And we're at May 21st, 2025. That's over a month and a half. And I'm still waiting for a grade. And there's many times where they had me waiting a long time, month the most, or a little, less than that I'm waiting right now. And it just says did not pass again. So many people feel forced to go back to their old jobs where they may have dealt with things that were not healthy. And I looked for other jobs early in the morning, in the evening, had no success. So I felt that it was best to just go back, put my pride aside and go back. Now, one of these ladies are still working there. She was apologetic. She apologized. She admitted the things she did was wrong, and she seems like she's changing. Jehovah bless her. I mean, she is an intelligent, beautiful, priceless gift from Jehovah. She has many gifts. I can see when she does activities with the children when I, walked in to watch her class. And I'm trying to be respectful as someone who is showing people this is how Jehovah loves you. But I still don't trust her. I don't trust to get close to her again. And I'm still dealing with flashbacks. I just can't do it. And I feel like it's best to keep things professionally where we can have a conversation where other people can hear it. I'm not going to talk to you after work where there's no one to witness what's going on, because I'm still thinking about what happened on several significant occasions and the humiliation and the gaslighting after you were doing the psychological and emotional abuse because what you evidently felt frustrated about. Now I became the dumping ground. Now I became the scapegoat. Now I became the person to sort of wipe, you know, your anger, frustrations on, and that's not right because I've been through a lot of stuff myself. I didn't have an easy life. I'm one of the many that had a very trying life and went through a lot just like her. But I'm not over there trying to wipe my stuff on her because I don't feel I'm better than her. We're all equals living on this planet trying to survive. Many times she told me what other people said about me on the job, about using too much toilet paper, and I have a very heavy cycle. I've been going through to different physicians, and I was told it was hormonal. So during that time, I do use a lot of tissue. I did a lot for that job as far as staying late, helping them clean up. I don't think anybody should complain about me using a little more tissue during certain times, especially if I can't take off. That's ridiculous. And she would go and disguise it as, oh, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. After you done humiliated me in front of other people and put it into jokes. After you done said all these lies where a lot of people can hear it in your anger. Oh, I just was doing it out of concern. It was always an excuse. So it felt like I was getting beat up. And after that, like a person who beat you up, they're saying, I love you. It's because of this. It's because of that. It wasn't physical scars. It was mental and emotional scars that still affect me down to this day. And now with the other case with the family, I felt empathy for them when I was working at a certain job where we had after school. And I felt so much potential in these children. I began to help the mother out, babysitting for free, sharing money with her children over the years, sharing money with her when she cooked on certain special occasions so I can contribute towards it and not just freeload. I've shared so much with this family and it turned to false accusations being thrown in my face out of anger. It turned into the mother lying, saying that I was texting someone and she got the message and she's lying to her kids, making me look like I'm talking behind her back when I told I thought who I could trust, a trusted family member, and they evidently told her, might have not been in a vindictive way, but it came back to her, and I don't know what she told her children, but she evidently told them lies because I'd never text somebody and was dogging her out, and she saw it by accident. She heard it directly from someone evidently in the family I trusted, and I wasn't dogging her out. All I was saying is that I'm just coming back from seeing my mom, and I have to pay rent. I just moved into an apartment and the rent is almost $2,000. At the time, it was a little less than what I'm paying now. It's been raised since after 2 years. Anyways, let's get to the point. I could not afford to give her no $100. I was trying to struggle myself, trying to survive myself. So she told her children something else that added more to the confusion, added more to the lies, added more to the anger. And I tried to help this family. I got things thrown in my face that were false, fabricated, not the whole truth. I got treated funny, and here I am doing free child care services where I'm cleaning, I'm washing dishes, I'm sweeping, I'm mopping at times, I'm helping children with their homework, I'm getting up in the middle of the night, helping a child who's having gas because they're babies. Well, some of them were babies and some of them were toddlers. And at the time I helped when they were young, when they were like 5 years old, up into adulthood. And now I'm helping their children. And now I'm helping more of their mother's children who had children after they got big. So I'm getting treated like the slime on someone's foot, the scum as you're being wiped by a baby wipe. I'm getting treated like garbage at some point. And many lies got told like it was the truth. And yes, you love your parent. You want to protect your parent's feeling, but it shouldn't be at the cost of someone else who's been avenously helping you and not getting paid a dime for it and sending thousands of dollars accumulatively over the years to not only you as a mom, but your children. Not getting paid for services where you would have to pay a good significant amount of money for someone doing all of that. So it was very disrespectful, very humiliating, very dehumanizing experience that still affects me. And again, I don't trust even more. And these are by women who claim they've been through abuse, women they claim they've been through men not treating them right, but yet they're treating another woman like that, and lying on her habitually, fabricating, not sharing the whole truth, making someone look bad, and treating them like a scapegoat at the cost of making somebody else feel better. Not treating with a human value, even though you're striving to treat them like human that are priceless to Jehovah, which they are. And to this day, I don't think they'll ever admit the whole truth. And so this has affected me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I can tell you that abuse happens from females. These women are not going to court for this. These women still go on, some of which are in higher positions than you, some of which who are still, they're getting all these people, not all these people, but they're having people stick up for them. They're having the supports from people. While many times you were isolated in result of this. Many times you had people treat you funny after this. Many times you were being isolated because of this. Many times in which you've lost job or much needed opportunities for jobs, job progress because of this, and working at jobs that continue to affect you adversely. So I can say this comes from females too. And we need to raise awareness, not just only for females, but for males. Males have gone through abuse too as well. And females have gone through abuse by other females. So let's continue to raise awareness for everyone and support them in getting help. There are free resources at the library. There are free resources online where if you can recognize something in yourself, you can have the opportunity to explore continuously healthier coping mechanisms and habits, and move and shift past not remaining a slave to your past or present, and not remaining a slave to your traumas, but overcoming them because you're better than that. Much love to everyone out there who's trying to break free and emancipate from that and become healthier people. Yahweh is a merciful Jah, and you will be forgiven. Please continue to be merciful. Please continue to repent, not only in word, but in deed. Your efforts will be blessed. Your wholehearted efforts are not being ignored. You are being counted from the heavens. The only way people can continue to forget and forgive is if you're showing that. How can we forget it if you're still displaying it? How can we still forget it if you're doing it quietly and covertly still, and Jehovah can see it? Please, you're better than that. We are better than that. We are Jehovah's priceless creation. Okay, much love from Simona Brown. Hope for Uproar. May we continue to move past this. This too shall pass. It's up to us to pass. Take care.